Welcome to the Deep Dive. If you need to know exactly what moved the needle in artificial intelligence today, November 10th, 2025, well, this is your shortcut.
Yeah, we've sifted through quite a mountain of sources, research papers, policy updates, infrastructure news, all to give you the clearest picture of where AI stands right now.
And our focus is strictly on today, November 10th. We're aiming for rapid synthesis, hitting the key global developments.
Exactly, across research, products, infrastructure, and governance. For you, the listener, the goal isn't just the what, but the crucial why it matters context. We want you to grasp the real impact of these daily shifts.
Okay, let's jump right in. Segment A, research. And we're starting with something genuinely groundbreaking, I think. It challenges the whole idea of well, what a scientific researcher even is.
This is work coming out of China. It seems to take AI beyond just, predicting patterns. We're talking automated scientific discovery.
Really? Tell me more.
So a research team, Tsinghua University, Peking University, and others involved, they've introduced an AI framework called Phi-E2E.
Phi-E2E, got it.
And the big deal here isn't just number crunching. It automatically derives symbolic, unit-consistent physical equations directly from raw data.
Wait, so instead of a human scientist looking at data and trying to figure out the underlying law,
Yeah.
this AI just writes the rule itself.
That's basically it. It's a huge leap. It moves AI from being a calculation tool towards being, well, an automated scientific partner, maybe.
Wow. And did it work?
It seems so. According to phys.org, they tested it using real NASA astrophysical data, and the model derived an improved formula for explaining solar cycles.
Improved. Not just replicated, but better.
Better. It didn't just model the cycle, it apparently wrote a better equation describing the physics behind it.
Okay, that's seriously impressive. Sets a high bar.
It really does.
But speaking of breakthroughs, maybe the biggest shift today wasn't just what models can do, but who gets to use them. There's huge news from Meta, right, on democratization.
Absolutely. A massive win for global accessibility. Meta AI released Omnilingual ASR, that's automatic speech recognition, and it's open source.
Okay.
The headline number is just staggering. It supports ASR in over 1,600 languages.
1,600, wow. I mean, the previous best was what, maybe 1,000?
Barely cracking 4 digits, yeah. This scale is transformative.
Why does that scale matter so much, especially being open source?
Well, it just democratizes the technology almost instantly. Think about it. Advanced speech recognition is now viable for millions, maybe billions of users in non-English speaking regions who were basically left out before.
Right.
And because it's open source, they detailed this on the Meta AI blog. Developers worldwide can grab it, integrate it, fine-tune it immediately. That really speeds up adoption, especially in emerging markets.
Okay. And kind of drilling down into that regional focus, we also saw something specific for India today, tackling its unique multilingual landscape.
That's right. AI4 launched the Indic LLM Arena.
Indic LM Arena.
Yeah, it's a community-driven platform. Crucially, it's set up to evaluate and rank large language models specifically on how well they handle 22 Indian languages.
22, so very targeted.
Exactly. It fills a really critical benchmarking gap in India. Provides a standard tool focused on that intense multilingual complexity. So local developers can actually see which models work well in Hindi or Tamil or Bengali, not just rely on, say, English-centric global benchmarks.
Okay, so moving on from that foundational research, let's talk about direct user-facing applications, the stuff that might actually change your workflow, maybe starting tomorrow. 3 big ones today.
Right. Let's start with Anthropic. They seem to be pushing Claude hard into the enterprise space, giving it hands almost.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Anthropic rolled out new integrations for Claude, basically connecting it smoothly to external tools and data sources.
Like what kind of tools?
Things like calendars, emails, databases, even third-party APIs, think Google Workspace or Slack.
Okay.
And this enables what we call complex agentic workflows.
Wait, let's unpack that term, agentic workflows. For someone learning, what does that mean in practice? Good question. Think of it like automation plus. So instead of just drafting an email for you, an agentic workflow might mean Claude reads an incoming client email, checks your calendar for when you're free, pulls up the relevant info from your sales database, drafts a reply summarizing everything, and schedules the follow-up meeting. All without you manually doing each step.
I see. So it takes initiative across different apps.
Exactly. And Anthropic News projects, this could reduce manual data handling by 40% in business settings.
40%. That's a huge productivity claim.
It is a massive potential efficiency boost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on the hardware side, Baidu in China launched something new in consumer wearables.
Yeah, Baidu released the Xiaodu AI Glasses Pro.
Now do AI Glasses Pro.
These are lightweight augmented reality glasses. They feature real-time translation and navigation, health monitoring, all powered by their Ernie bot model.
And the price?
2,299 yuan.
Okay. The real-time translation sounds key. They're boasting about speed, right?
They are. On-device processing helps reduce latency to under 100 milliseconds. That's incredibly fast for translation.
Under 100 meters. But wait, is there a trade-off with on-device processing? Does doing it locally mean less accuracy or complexity compared to, say, slower cloud-based systems to get that speed?
That's always the tension with edge AI, right? Baidu seems to have focused on tasks where speed is paramount, like translation and navigation.
Makes sense.
For their target market, Pandaily mentions over 200 million users in non-English markets. That real-time responsiveness might be more critical than, a tiny edge in linguistic nuance from a slower system. It's about utility and accessibility first.
Got it. Okay. And finally, in the U.S., OpenAI made a product announcement tied more to policy, a specific group.
That's right. OpenAI launched free access to ChatGPT specifically for U.S. transitioning service members and veterans.
Well, okay.
It's a clear effort to support workforce reintegration and education for that demographic. The estimate is over 200,000 individuals could be eligible each year. So it's a major AI player using access as a kind of social support tool.
All right, let's shift focus now to the bedrock of AI. The infrastructure. For years, the story was all about the bottleneck being GPUs getting enough chips. But today, the conversation seems to have fundamentally shifted. We're hitting a different kind of wall power. Just electricity to run these things.
Yeah, it's a massive shift. There's a major report out today confirming it. The incredibly fast build-out of AI data centers is hitting a critical bottleneck because there just isn't enough electrical power available.
Wow.
Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella even confirmed it publicly. They have the chips ready, but they literally cannot get power to the data centers fast enough.
That's incredible. And the projected numbers are scary, right?
They are. Projections cited by multiple sources, tech giants, utility providers suggest data centers could account for 7 to 12% of total U.S. national electricity consumption by 2030.
7 to 12%, just for data centers.
Just data centers, driven heavily by AI demand. So, power constraint is now officially the new key limiting factor in AI scaling.
That's not just a supply chain hiccup. That feels like it changes the whole investment landscape for AI. Are people now looking beyond chip makers?
Absolutely. The conversation is shifting from silicon to electrons. It means completely different investment strategies are needed. Suddenly, things like nuclear power, geothermal, other rapid deployment energy sources are becoming part of the AI infrastructure roadmap. It's a whole new game.
Changes everything. But okay, the chip makers themselves aren't just sitting idle. They're optimizing what they can power, right? NVIDIA had an update.
Correct. NVIDIA released NCCL version 2.28. That's their collective communications library.
NCCL, right.
It introduces new APIs that basically fuse communication and computation steps during AI training.
Okay, fuse communication and computation. What does that mean practically for, say, a big cloud provider?
It's a technical improvement designed to boost efficiency. NVIDIA claims it can improve inference throughput by 2x for hyperscale cloud providers. It helps enable what's called exascale AI infrastructure deployment.
Exascale, meaning building these absolutely enormous AI systems more efficiently.
Precisely. If you can communicate data between chips and calculate at the same time, you cut down on wasted time and, crucially, wasted energy waiting for data to move around. It makes the whole process much slicker.
Gotcha. Okay. And meanwhile, AMD is tackling this power issue from a different angle by making the models themselves less power hungry.
Exactly. AMD acquired MK1.
MK1.
Yeah, a startup specializing in model quantization and pruning. These are techniques to basically shrink AI models, make them smaller, and remove redundant parts without losing too much performance.
That's right. Shrink the model, cut the power bill.
That's the idea. This tech will be integrated into their Ryzen AI and Instinct accelerators, and AMD specifically stated the aim is cutting power consumption by 40% for real-time AI tasks on their silicon.
40% reduction, that's significant.
Very significant. It's a direct strategic response to the power crunch, making their hardware more efficient.
Okay, and one more on the infrastructure front. Databricks and Google Cloud, making big data AI cheaper.
Yes, Databricks announced integration with Google Cloud's Axion C4a VMs. These are ARM-based instances.
ARM-based, okay.
And they're targeting Spark-based machine learning workloads. The key benefit they're touting is up to 50% better price performance for training models on massive petabyte-scale datasets.
50% better price performance. That makes training huge models more accessible then.
Definitely. Lowering that cost barrier democratizes access, allows more companies and researchers to work with truly large-scale data. All right, so we've covered speed, power. Now let's transition to managing risk and responsibility. The regulatory side is really trying to catch up with all these rapid developments.
Yeah, seems like it's constantly trying to keep pace. And nowhere is that risk discussion more critical than in healthcare. We saw a major governance piece today from the U.S., right, focused on heart health.
That's right. The American Heart Association, the AHA, released a science advisory. It offers a new risk-based framework.
A framework for what exactly?
It's guidance for health systems on how to responsibly select, validate, and monitor AI tools, specifically in cardiovascular and stroke care. This is really crucial structure.
Why is this framework needed now, though? Aren't a lot of these AI tools already, like, FDA cleared?
They often are, yeah. But the big gap is local validation and bias assessment. You might have hundreds of FDA-cleared AI tools, but they often lack rigorous testing within a specific hospital or healthcare system's context.
Okay, so the FDA clearance is just the first step.
Exactly. This AHA framework provides that missing structure. It helps address the governance gap, ensures tools are checked for bias against local populations, and ultimately aims for more equitable patient outcomes. It gives doctors and hospitals a clear process.
Makes sense. Okay, so that's at the health system level. Are states stepping into where maybe federal law is slower? I heard something about New York.
Yes, New York State is definitely taking a lead here. Their new AI companion safety law actually takes effect today.
AI companion safety law, focusing specifically on those AI chatbot companions.
Precisely. It mandates things like crisis intervention protocols must be built in and strict user transparency requirements. You need to know you're talking to an AI, what its limits are, and what happens if a crisis is detected.
Interesting.
It establishes one of the most comprehensive state-level regulatory frameworks we've seen in the U.S. for this kind of advanced interactive AI. Focuses heavily on user safety disclosures and mandatory incident reporting.
Okay. And zooming out to the global stage, the OECD is also involved, trying to standardize how we even talk about AI problems.
That's right. The OECD Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development released a report today. It outlines a standardized framework for reporting AI incidents.
Like a common language for when things go wrong.
Essentially, yes. It even includes templates for describing hazards and impacts. The goal is to promote global transparency and better risk management. If everyone reports failures using the same structure, we can all learn much faster from mistakes and hopefully prevent systemic AI failures across borders.
Standardized reporting for faster learning. Makes sense. And finally, a policy note from Germany, highlighting some, economic concerns.
Yeah, Heise Online's KI update flagged some emerging risks. They point specifically to AI-driven job displacement, looking at the U.S. experience, and also potential conflicts between new EU AI rules and existing GDPR data protection regulations.
Job displacement is a huge worry. Any numbers mentioned?
The piece underscored governance gaps around labor impacts. It specifically noted that AI could worsen unemployment by 10 to 20% in the sectors most affected if there aren't safeguards put in place.
10 to 20%, wow.
Yeah, it's a really crucial early warning signal from Europe that governance needs to think about the human workforce impact, not just technical safety.
Okay, let's quickly touch on the business side before we wrap up. Just two key items today, right? An adoption story and an acquisition.
Correct. First, in clinical research, a company called Clario has adopted generative AI pretty significantly.
What are they using it for?
They deployed generative AI on AWS SageMaker to automate protocol analysis and data extraction within clinical trials.
Okay, so speeding up drug development.
Radically, it seems. They report it's accelerating drug development by 30%. It reduces manual review time, which apparently used to take weeks, down to just hours.
Weeks to hours. That's huge in a field like clinical research.
Absolutely. A massive time and cost saver in what's, a $50 billion sector.
Right. And the other move was an acquisition. Rumble buying someone.
Yeah, Rumble is acquiring Northern Data, which is a technology company based in Germany.
Interesting. Why Northern Data?
According to Reuters, the main driver is securing access to high-performance computing assets. Basically, Rumble wants to boost its available compute capacity, and this German company has what it needs.
So buying compute power across the Atlantic shows how critical that raw capacity still is.
Exactly. Compute is still king, even if, as we discussed, powering it is the new bottleneck.
Okay, let's try and pull this all together, because connecting these dots is where it gets really interesting. What can you actually use today, and what do these big numbers really mean? #outro.
Okay, so before we sign off, a couple of practical things based on today's news. First, check out the Hugging Face Speed Painting Project. It's an open source tool for making AI-generated art really quickly using diffusion models. They claim it can cut production time by 70%.
70% faster art generation.
Wow.
Yeah.
And second, related to the meta news, they actually released the massive data set they used to train that Omnilingual ASR model. We're talking 12.5 million hours of multilingual speech data. It's available now as an open source data set for anyone building language tech.
12.5 million hours.
Yeah.
Incredible resource.
Okay.
And our numbers of the day, they really highlight those macro trends we talked about.
Definitely. Number one, 7 to 12%. That projected share of U.S. electricity potentially consumed by data centers by 2030 really drives home that power crunch issue.
Yeah, unavoidable number. And the second,
1,600. The number of languages supported by Meta's new Omnilingual ASR model just shows that massive push towards truly global linguistic reach for AI.
okay, so final thought. Connecting all this back to governance, information, what's the key tension you see emerging just from today's news?
I think the really interesting tension today revolves around authority. We saw, for example, a source prioritization table published by Grokopedia, and it apparently privileges primary self-published facts, things like verified ex posts, often putting them right alongside or maybe even above traditional secondary sources like peer-reviewed journals.
Wait, really? Placing verified social media posts potentially above academic papers?
That seems to be the implication in some context for how these systems might weigh information, and this raises a really important question for you, the learner.
Yeah.
If AI can instantly generate text that looks completely authoritative, but it's trained on data that gives equal weight to a verified tweet and a scientific paper, how can governance systems even define truth anymore or enforce neutrality?
That's a tough one. So if you're using one of the powerful new AI tools tonight to research something,
You need to ask, are you aware of the hierarchy of sources it's using to construct its facts? These systems are starting to generate their own knowledge structures, bypassing traditional review processes.
right?
So your task, as someone trying to learn and understand, is to question not just the final answer that AI spits out, but the underlying data, the source hierarchy, the whole infrastructure behind that statement.
So what does this all mean for you? It means digging deeper. The sources matter more than ever, and understanding the infrastructure, the power, the models, the data is just as critical as the information itself. Keep questioning, keep learning.
And we'll catch you on the next deep dive.